Hey, good morning, everybody. It's me, Robert Phoenix. I'm back. My cap is a little stained, apparently. It's a little funky, and I know why it's stained because I was making bone broth last night. I had a big bone broth project, and that's I got some tallow on the cap. So I guess it was fatty baptized. What's going on, Michael? Good to see you. FUP77 in the house. Good to see you as well. Let's see. We're just gonna kind of hang out. It got really cold here, man. It was down in the well, for us, cold. I know for some of you up north, it's way more cold. But it was in the high 20s last night. I had to cover my plants. I hope I got to them in enough time to make sure that they stayed at least remotely warm, even after they got a bit cold. Wild man in the house. All Democrat traitors are enemies. Yeah, it's pretty clear now. Yeah, there she is, the lovely and talented Joan S. By the way, if you ever want to get your mercury removed from your mouth, that's your gal right there, Joan S. Joan Sepsic, biological dentist, par excellence. Go to Austin, get your mercury removed. She's one of the best people in the country doing that. Natasha Lloyd, what's going on? Natasha, closer to heaven than the rest of us. Z, what's going on? Z, Ian Barber. Jennifer Rubin, escape from LA. Jennifer, get your Kurt Russell gear on. Nancy Dickerson, tea time with Tizia. She knows it's cold. She's down in Houston, too. Houston area. There's Ryan, the introspective Woodward. Marlene, good to see you. Danica Rose. Rose by any other name in the house. Laura D's here. Frank Bry. Speaking of cold, Frank, how you doing up there in Potato Land? Lil's in the house. There's my man, Uncle Glenn. WC Ray. Stay warm. We're working on it. Steve Mercer. Thor by the door. Steve, I'll reach out to you a little bit later today. Double B, Beth Berry. She's in the house. I'd sell for getting fluoride removed from my water. I got a little story about that today. We're gonna have a little fun today. We're gonna do a little Gemini magic today. A little Gemini magic in store for you. Let's see, Megan Donovan. Oh, you're in Berlin now. Okay, Megan. So reached out. Let's hook up. I have some time today. Let's see what we can do together. Okay. So we can do a Skype or we can do Zoom. Frank says, cool. Tina Sherman. Hi, Tina. Hope you're doing well. Foxborough's got to distill your water anyway about it unless it's spring. People can invest in distillers. They're not that expensive. You can get pretty decent on distillers for anywhere between $40 to $100, depending upon the capacity of water. So Fox has a good some good advice there. Megan Wallace, the first time chatter listening live this morning. Listening for you, right on. And I said, welcome, Megan Waller. Welcome. The mayor's in the house. Oh, look at that. It's 35 in Pensacola. 28 in North Idaho. So Trump has been at Camp David meeting with generals while Israel has been killing Iranian generals. War with Iran. I don't know if there's going to be war with Iran. I don't think that. I have theories about that. I can get into that a little bit. Mary Black. What's going on, Mary? Good to see you. Good morning, Michael R. By the way, Carol's surgery apparently went really well, and she is doing fine. So good on her. And I was in communication with Cliff High last night, and Cliff wants to come on the show. His life is really weird. Okay, have you figured that out yet? Like how weird life is? Life is really weird. So Cliff High and I had a conversation about him coming to my show in 2012. And it didn't really go anywhere. And the reason why is because his wife was ill and he was dealing with his mother-in-law. So never really cohered. And that was 2012. And now he got in touch with Jay, because I reached out to Cliff on Twitter, said, hey man, I want you to come on my show. And then Jay sent me an email, said, Cliff wants to get in touch with you. So I sent him an email. I said, hey, just call me. And he says, I'd be happy to, as soon as my wife gets out of heart surgery. So here we are 8 years later, coming back to the cliff zone, coming back to the edge of the cliff, and similar factors are in play here. His wife is not doing well. Life is very strange. Anyway, Cliff, I hope your wife makes it through her surgery, gets back on her feet. And I know if there's somebody who is qualified to assist her in recovery ably, it is you. She's got the right guy in her life. Let's see. 25 degrees at my place. Glad to hear about Carol. Yes. Amazing Polly has a great new show about mass on BitChute. She's always worth a watch, I have to say. Can I just say something about Polly, though? And I'm not here. I'm trying to wrap my arms around as many people in the truth world as possible. Okay? Really, I am. We need each other. We have to reimagine individualism. But I will say this about Polly. Canada is really fucking far gone fascist. And she's a Canadian. Maybe it would be helpful if she made a few videos about Justin Trudeau and Theresa Tam and, the hardcore globalist agenda that they have planned for Canada. I'm not saying she has to stay in her zip code, but she's a Canadian, and some of the most egregious kinds of exhibitions of fascism are going on right in her own country. Now, maybe I don't watch a lot of Polly, so maybe she does cover this. So if she does, please forgive me. But I think it'd be good if she did. Not that I want to discount her other work, which is important. Just saying. Just saying. Let's see. What else do we have here? People should ban. Yes, I'm trying. I'm doing my best. YT gave me no notification broadcast. Yeah, I'm here 8:45, 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. What I suggest is just bookmark my YouTube channel. That's all you got to do. Remember bookmarks? Remember you bookmark stuff? Bookmarks were the big thing before push notifications. They're amazing bookmarks. Bookmark my page, bookmark my channel, and just come here between 8:45 and 9. Keep checking back. I try to get as close to 8:45 as possible. Mark Matheny in the house, or just play Trudeau saying building back better on a loop for 10 minutes over shots of Dolphins. Sigurd, you should be a director. You should direct movies. In a perfect world, you would be a director. You would be a director. Cliff and the Magnets. Polly calls me on good. Thank you. See, I don't watch. I'm not a Polly watcher. I am not a Polly watcher. So I said that. I qualify. I don't know. Maybe she does. Good. I know Steve and Chris, you guys are big Polly fans. Wonder how Polly feels about Tartaria. We should get a little. She probably doesn't have anything to say about Tartaria. Hi, Robert. Hope all is well. Always look for you. Karen, we're doing okay. Things are good here. Charles said I'd unsubscribe for Australian Sky News. Funny you should say that, laugh out loud. I have a knack. Right? I have a bit of a knack of, finding kind of the right niche for the right person. AP always struck me as controlled yes. Sear would be a great director. I know, right? I know. He's got director written Sear's got director written all over them. By the way, I will be having a reading with Sear. Okay, we got Ursula Hauser. Now, this is an interesting person right here. Ursula Hauser, I got to tell you. She's very interesting. She's a full-on scientist, and she knows the score. She's living in Portland. She's an import from Europe, came here a long time ago, and full of life and full of vitality, and just really, really interesting, great person. She's in chat right now, and she's kind of, she's behind enemy lines, really. So I think it's good to have a virtual space like that for Ursula here. Look at Megan, living in Croatia. And they just recently closed all restaurants, cafes, and gyms. Well, as long as the Croatians can come together like the Serbians, you have a shot. You have a shot. Good to see you, Megan. I'm glad you made it there. I'm kind of jealous, actually. I like Croatia, at least the idea of Croatia. Let's see. What else? Anything else? Let's see. Okay, I think we're up to speed here with folks in chat. Oh, Double V. Good morning, snowy here in Western PA. Rayanne, what's going on, Rayanne? John Candy energy is still cracking me up. John Candy's great. He was fantastic. Justin is compromised, possibly doubled. Have you seen the videos of him lately? They're weird. They're very weird. Justin Trudeau apparently is Fidel Castro's son. I believe that. Christine Moe's in the house. Nancy Harding. Okay, Croatia is gorgeous. I'd love to go to Croatia. Yeah. If I was a single woman looking for husband material, I would go to Croatia. I'd go to Serbia. I'd go to one of those countries where men are like still real men, unlike this fucking country. Trudeau has a plastic vibe about him. There's something weird, man. He's like a pod person now. It's almost like he's on automatic pilot. Very strange. Trudeau allegedly split with his wife. What, so he can be with his boyfriend? The Justin bot has a few missing nuts and bolts. Yes, indeed. You guys are the best, man. You guys are the best. John Levy was championing his chat group, and he's got a very good community, very, very supportive. I actually tossed John a few bucks yesterday because I like watching his videos. I think he does really good work. Black goo vaccine. Yeah, I think we could be staring at black goo vax. I had a moment yesterday. I revisited this old message board I used to go to. Oh yeah, Justin Trudeau Castro. It's true, man. It's true. You could look it up. You could look up how his mommy used to go to Cuba on her own, and Castro was a absolutely known womanizer. Yeah, that Qantas video was from 3 years ago. That guy got hit. That pie face was from 3 years ago. 3 years ago. I hear Biden's under house arrest. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he had the eclipsed moon on his Saturn, and I talked about that. Well, I didn't talk about it. I talked about it on another message board, and I said he would disappear. Let's see what else we have. Which earlobe Biden exactly? Now the Trump family is at Camp David. Castro was an actor. He might have been an actor, but he's a bad actor. He's a bad actor. Castro and Che Guevara basically came over from Mexico on yachts. That tells you everything you want to know. Biden 4.0, yes. Dogs and then foot boots seem to go hand in hand this year. Howdy Mikowski was on Crow 77 yesterday. Really interesting. Mikowski, okay. You're the second person that's brought up Howdy. Crow should have me on as a guest. But he doesn't believe in space. He doesn't believe in the moon. So I may not fit. Let's see. Biden fitting for ankle brace. Pop, maybe. X-Files goo or Prometheus goo. Sigurd, you bring something up that's interesting. I think, Tony Scott, there's a weird thing about the Scott brothers, in that there's some people who think that Ridley Scott was basically doing show and tell with the latter Alien movies. And that was in response to what might have happened with his brother, Tony. in LA. That's a whole other rabbit hole completely. Yep. Howdy did a great show with Jay. All right, I'm going to check out this howdy. There's a lot of howdy doody going on here. There's Ralph Winter. Snowing here? Not quite yet, but certainly in parts of the country. Let's see. Have you heard Gina Haspel may be dead? Okay, let's get into some of this. Rumors and rumors upon rumors and rumors. I got a lot to cover today, and a lot of it's going to be, I think, interesting. Yes, Ridley is an absolute Warren. The goal is to make all business membership based, private versus public. Yeah, well, they're going to get rid of private. They're going to get rid of private completely. They just wanted it all to be subsumed into one entity. Best thing to do now is to turn your business into a club. See, that's what Costco. This is what people don't understand about the Costco thing, right? Let me talk about that. I'm going to address Costco. Here we go. All right. Hey, there's Ani. Good to see you. I was waiting for you. Neptune is squaring. Notice how much accuracy is there. Yeah. We got Neptune is wreaking havoc, man. It's also connected to vaccines. Pisces, Neptune rules all liquids, including the ones you stick in they stick in your body. If the prior reset world was reset, the world with Tartar architecture, what chance do common people now have to stop another reset? Lower informed, the only thing we have to watch out for is the physical reset, because we're looking at a virtual reset as we speak. I'll get into that. Hey, Joseph, good to see Leon. Leon, I'm going to get back to you today. I promise. I'm going to call you after the show. Okay. All right. Let's get going. All right. Here we go. All right. Dear blessed and holy Mother, Father, God of the great central sun within the universal light, which is the light of Yeshua, Sananda, Emmanuel. I got to put on the priest effect today while I do this. Let me get all priesty today. Okay. Dear blessed and holy Father, Mother, God. Here we go. I'll do the monk look. Dear blessed and holy Father, Mother God, of the great central sun within universal light, which is the light of Yeshua, Sananda Emmanuel, we ask that only the highest and best information and truth come through this channel at this time. And in so doing, that we are all blessed with the qualities of grace and courage, fortitude, commitment, love, vitality, abundance, zeal, confidence, energy, intelligence, wit, presence of mind, and above all, love. We ask that any karmic residue be cleansed, purified, clarified, and removed. So be it. Okay, there we go. Had to invoke the old monk energy. All right. Yes, memberships. Yes. So a certain somebody has a practice that they turned into a membership. A certain somebody who removes fluoride. And it was something that popped into my head. And here's what happened. This is how it came to me. There's a dry county up the road here in a town called Mason. And they have a club there called the Lilu. It's actually a really cool place. I met the owner. The guy's a true Texan, really very true. Born, raised, true Texan. And the town of Mason, here's the bona fides for Mason. Mason was where the guy who wrote Old Yeller is from. Classic American book turned into a classic American movie. I think it might have been Disney's first cinematic movie. Like they had cartoon movies and Mickey Mouse shit, right? Fantasia. But I think it was their first cinematic movie. It was Old Yeller. And Old Yeller premiered at the movie theater, which is still there in Mason. Okay. So I went there one day and I got to meet the guy who owns Lilu. Mason's a dry county. Well, how do they get around the dry county bit? Well, he started a membership with this club. You pay $5. You have an opportunity or the right to be a member for the day, and you get to drink. It's a club. You have your own rules, right? You have your own rules. So, that's actually made an impact on me. So our certain someone who does the fluoride removal, I said, hey, listen, you should probably think about turning your establishment into a membership. And that way you can define the rules and conditions of when people come in through the front door. And that isn't exactly what's happened. And one of the people that, if you are thinking about this, you have a business, I highly recommend you embrace this path, okay? Because if the city or the county wants to go in and do something and make an example of you, you can go to court, and you could then make the city or the county do the same thing to other clubs and businesses in the city and or county, and essentially apply the same rules or the same strictures or the same mandates. And I guarantee you they won't. They won't. You know why? Because in every city there is a Masonic lodge, and there are clubs. You are members of the lodge. That means that they would have to go into every single lodge and determine what they would do there, right? And they won't do it. That's a no-fly zone, and that's just one example. So the reason why Costco can get away with what it's doing is because you are a member of their club. Costco is a club. Now, here's the rub, okay? You should look at your membership and what you agreed to. If you're a Costco member, you go in and say, hey, I'd like to look at my membership. And you look in there and you can actually see if there are any provisos about them determining whether or not you can wear a mask. Now, there may be language in there that allows them to amend the membership, right? They could do that, and then it's their business, their membership, their club. They can do what they want. But if there is no language in the membership contract, you can take your contract to Costco and say, where is it in my membership with you that says that I have to wear a mask? I've gone through this and it is not here. Did you update the terms and conditions of the membership? And there is a time when you sign that agreement, right? So, in my case, I became a member a long time ago. So there were certain rules and conditions, terms and conditions inside that membership contract that I agreed to at a certain point in time. Now, if there is a proviso or there is language in there that basically says, hey, look, we can change this at any time we want and you can't do shit about it, then that's a whole other discussion, okay? But it would be worth looking at. So speaking of Costco, somebody sent me, I think it was Julie, sent me the police report from the guy who got arrested at Costco. Okay, you know the story. I played the video. I'm not going to play it again. So but I will break it down and kind of go back over what happened. So the guy's in Costco. He's with his son. His son is 18. So his son is not some poor kid. The son is an adult, and the son took off his mask because he had some, breathing issue or whatever. So here's what I think. I think the father and the son went in there to make a case. That's what I think. I think they went in there to make a case. I think they wanted Costco to call up the cops. I think they wanted to get arrested. And so here's why I think. Because on the police report, the guy would not give his name. He wouldn't show him his ID. And he kept asking, am I being arrested? Clearly, the guy watched a few YouTube videos and was pushing it, right? He was pushing it. And, of course, the Costco manager, being kind of an asshole, called the cops. He said that the father passed a knife to the son. That's on the record. And even in the report, it alludes to that. So the Costco manager was lying through his teeth. And that may have been the thing that got the cops out there. Okay, so once the cops come and you're on Costco's property inside of their club, like you're headed in a different direction. You're like, that's almost a no-win situation. You cannot basically street corner legalese yourself out of that situation. It's very difficult. Very, very difficult. Now, they didn't get him for trespassing, but what they got him for was being a public nuisance. Well, that's not really true. Disorderly conduct. So disorderly conduct, and again, I'm not a lawyer, but I believe disorderly conduct is applicable to public spaces. Private spaces, disorderly conduct is a whole different thing. Now, they could get him for trespassing, but they didn't. That's not what's on the report. So they bring him out to the car, they put him in cuffs, and the cuffs are hard. I know that for a fact. I've had cuffs put on me and long time ago, and they are fucking sadistic with cuffs. There's a double lock thing where it's supposed to lock you in, but take the pressure off of the joints, and they didn't do that. They didn't do the double lock, and if they're on there for a long period of time, you can suffer nerve damage. And back in the day when I was kind of young and stupid, I got into a situation where that happened to me, and I had those cuffs on my hands for about 6 hours in a place where I was taken out of circulation, right? 6 hours. Like I was inside of, I was in jail, okay, for 6 hours. This is back in the 90s. And finally, they when they took the cuffs off, I had nerve damage, and I had to go and have like rehabilitation sessions. And even to this day, I can kind of feel where some of that happened. You never want to be in cuffs. Trust me. You just don't want. Number one, it can be really damaging physically. And number two, it's damaging to the psyche. You don't want to be in a situation where you lose. Okay. Just don't want to go there. So what happened with the Costco thing is that I think they wanted a confrontation. I think they wanted to prove a point. Once the cops show up in their space, you're kind of screwed. You cannot really street legalese yourself out of it, no matter. And I think the guy did mostly the right thing. And when he was given his citation, he didn't sign it. Okay? You don't have to sign the citation. You don't have to do it. But I don't think that's not thought through all the way. If they're going to do that, then you have to have the end. You just can't improvise this shit. And, you can up to a point, but then you get to another point where it's like you keep, playing your cards, and you're not beating the hand that you're facing. Okay. In that situation, what I would have done, if I had gone to that point and the cops showed up, I would say, okay, let's go. Let's go talk about this outside. I would leave Costco. Yeah, we got into a bit of a hassle about the mask. Come on, can we go outside? Because, I feel like the manager's being really aggressive. Instead, the guy kept referring to the manager as Chuckles. And the cop even said it's disrespectful. Like, and he said, I can say whatever I want. And he's right. You can say whatever you want. But remember, there's always not a price to pay, but theoretically a price to pay for free speech, right? It has free speech is free, but if you say fire in a theater, well, you can't say fire in a theater now because theaters aren't even open. Right? You can say fire in a theater now, and it wouldn't matter because nobody's there. But there are implications to free speech, right? So in that situation, you got to be smart. You can't be street corner sovereign in a situation like that. You can't do that. You have to be smarter than the cop. You have to be smarter than the manager. So you could, if all that goes down, you're like super polite. Say, oh, yes. Yeah, thank you for coming here. Like, thank you for coming here. The manager has very, very untenable, highly aggressive. My son and I felt threatened. Thank you for being here. Can we go outside and talk about this? I'd like to leave the store and I'd like to talk with you about it. Is that okay? Like in that moment, the cop's thinking, oh, geez, okay. This guy's really, he's reasonable. And you go outside and you start talking with the cop because you're not going to get served there anyway. You're not going to break through and the cop is going to turn around at the manager and say, he can shop here without a mess. No, he's not going to do that. They're not going to do that. End of story. And then you take him outside and now you're in a different situation and you can figure out where you want to go from that point forward. You could be super polite, super friendly, super respectful, and have your side of the story with it. Another cop's thinking, well, geez, this guy's really, he's very, very cordial. He's respectful. I don't know why they called us in. And if he said, well, I'd like to see your name, I said, we don't have to go there right now. This is between me and the store. This is not a police situation. And I know you were called in, but let's not go there. I don't really want to give you my name and my ID. I want to really de-escalate this thing. Okay, good. Let's just talk as humans, right? And I went, no, let's just not go there. And then if he continues to press and say, look, here we go. I'm just talking to you person to person. You take your badge off in your mind, right? And if he continues to do that, then you say, okay, well, let's continue our conversation off the property. So you get off the fucking Costco parking lot. Now you're off the parking lot. Now you've removed yourself, right? You say, let's just go out here. Here's the line just walk. Let's get off the parking lot. I'm not comfortable having this conversation with you on Costco's property. Is that okay? And now I'm really off the property. You've done everything in your power, right? You've done everything in your power. And then once you're off the property and you've got the cell phone running, you can do and say whatever you want. If that guy continues to press the authority button, the authority issue, then you can take the gloves off. You can. You can say whatever you want. You can humiliate them if you want to, right? You can do that because they can't do anything. They cannot do anything. And I've seen it. I've seen it with James Freeman. I've seen it on the other side with, the Antifans. They can't do anything. They can't arrest you for talking shit. They can't. But you have to figure out where you're going before you get there. You have to have a plan or presence in mind. You have to have 2 or 3 alternate plans just in case. So if you're going to go into Costco and try to get them to, call the cops and then confront the cops and hit them with, curbside sovereignties, you've got to be smart. You got to be smart. You don't want to be humiliated. You just don't want to be humiliated. And you don't want to give Costco the satisfaction of saying, see, we took care of those assholes. That's a win. That's a win for Costco, and that's a loss for you. You get the cuffs on. It's humiliating. It's bad for your psyche, and I don't endorse that. But if you want to have an outcome, if you want to test the system, you've got to have a plan, and you need to know what you're doing and where you want to go with it. It's important. Presence of mind. You could have a lot of courage with no presence of mind, and you'll take a bullet. Trust me, you'll take a bullet. You have to control the narrative. Absolutely. Sure. Whoever calls the cops take their side. Yes, of course they will. Of course they will. Absolutely. That's why you want to remove yourself from the situation as quickly as possible so that the cops can't sit there and then, now he's there with another person, right? They go out in teams. So one guy will talk with you and the other guy will be talking to the Costco guy or whatever. But you want to remove yourself from that situation so it doesn't, you want to de-escalate. You want to de-escalate and you want to be really like, Citizen Joe. You want to be Citizen Joe. You want to be more calm, more clear, more rational than whoever it is, call the cops on you. That's a given. And that's hard to do. That is very difficult to do. But if you can do that, you are literally in that moment. You're in that moment. And the worst thing that could happen is to have no presence of mind. You got to have a game plan. You got to think, what's going to happen to me and what are the potential outcomes? This is how military works. What are the potential outcomes? And then you plan accordingly. De-escalate, yes, absolutely. You got to de-escalate because you're not going to win in that situation. I mean, think about it. They have the ability and the right to detain you to a certain degree. If they can't detain you, legally, they can sit there and continue to ask you questions, waste your time, and drain your energy. They can do that, and they will. They absolutely will. So you want to de-escalate as quickly as possible. You want to appear to be rational, calm, reasonable, right? And then you have more latitude. You have more latitude in the space. Now, they're locked into a mindset, and they've got about 3 or 4 parameters that they can really kind of operate from. Anything outside of that, they're just locked in. But you can kind of maneuver them to a certain degree, right? But the best way is to de-escalate and appear to be super rational, super cool. You don't want to be jacked up and try to make an example of them. You can do that later, but you can't do it in the moment. Can't do it in the moment. Let's see. Like Graham say, if you go looking for a fight, you will find it. It's true, man. It is absolutely true. Hi, Kristen. Nice to see you. Okay, I covered that. So Michael Flynn had an interview. I'm not going to play the whole interview. It's about 20 minutes long, but I do want to play some of it. Okay, I want to play some of it. It's really worth listening to. I think Flynn's a real deal. I think he understands it. He gets it. I do think he is the Kraken. And I think his 305th or whatever, that was his division, and they were known as the Kraken. So, we have confirmation there. I'm going to play an interview with Flynn. Some of you have heard it. Some of you haven't. I think it's really worth listening to here. We're going to play a part of it. And this is the emergency message to America. It doesn't get much more clearer than this, okay? People don't understand what's going on. I don't have a whole lot of hope for them. Period. End of story. Okay, so let's get into this. Here we go. So this is from 2 days ago, or 3 days ago now, right? Michael Flynn, here we go.
What's happening in this country should never happen. And we are going through, there's no doubt in my mind, we're going through a crucible of history. And if we don't correct what it is that's happening right now over the next couple of weeks, then I really hate to even think about what will happen in our country going forward into the latter part of December and certainly into the next month. I do not believe for a second that the country will accept Vice President Biden as the next president based on what we know to be probably the greatest fraud that our country has ever experienced in our history. I mean, what we're seeing, what I'm in right in the middle of it right now, and I will tell you that, first of all, the president has clear paths to victory. They have clear paths to victory, and they actually don't require a lot of courtroom action. What they require is they require a lot of honesty out of elected officials and frankly a lot of Americans who are coming forward and telling us their stories. I mean, the hundreds and hundreds of Americans around the country in different states, not just the swing states, but many other states that are coming forward with their stories and putting them down on affidavits as witnesses. We had we had probably 10 or 12 affidavits come in from one particular state today. And because there's been a number of threats to people, these particular patriots, they sent their photos in with their affidavits and said, put mine up at the top of the list because I want people to know that I'm not going to be afraid of these people that are threatening our country and our way of life. And so I say all that, and on one hand, and the other hand, as I just described, we have clear paths to victory for this president. And frankly, he's going to win Pennsylvania. He's going to win Arizona. He's going to win Georgia. He's going to win Nevada. He's going to win Michigan. And the other one that he's probably going to pull in is Wisconsin too, because there's a discrepancy in Wisconsin of 130,000 fraudulent ballots that they just found, they just discovered. So there's a lot of things happening, and it's all, to me, it's the next president. And I said 10, it'll be Donald Trump. It'll be President Trump. There's no doubt.
Okay, my apologies. I have what's called echo cancellation on the software, but apparently it was not working. So I'm going to start this from the beginning. Thank you, chat. I don't want this to be a piece that you guys cannot hear. I think it's really important. So I'm going to start from the beginning, and my mic will be muted. My apologies. So let's go on this. Here we go. One more second. Give me 1 second. I gotta make sure I have everything. Hold on. All right, good. Click. All right, let's go again. Again, my apologies. I'm going to mute, and that way you guys can hear everything.
And we are going through, there's no doubt in my mind, we're going through a crucible of history. And if we don't correct what it is that's happening right now over the next couple of weeks, then I really hate to even think about what will happen in our country going forward into the latter part of December and certainly into the next month. I do not believe for a second that the country will accept Vice President Biden as the next president based on what we know to be probably the greatest fraud that our country has ever experienced in our history. I mean, what we're seeing, what I'm in right in the middle of it right now, and I will tell you that, first of all, the president has clear paths to victory. They have clear paths to victory, and they actually don't require a lot of courtroom action. What they require is they require a lot of honesty out of elected officials, and frankly, a lot of Americans who are coming forward and telling us their stories. I mean, the hundreds and hundreds of Americans around the country in different states, not just the swing states, but many other states that are coming forward with their stories and putting them down on affidavits as witnesses. We had probably 10 or 12 affidavits come in from one particular state today, and because there's been a number of threats to people, these particular patriots, they sent their photos in with their affidavits and said, put mine up at the top of the list because I want people to know that I'm not going to be afraid of these people that are threatening our country and our way of life. And so I say all that, and on one hand, and the other hand, as I just described, we have clear paths to victory for this president. And frankly, he's going to win Pennsylvania. He's going to win Arizona. He's going to win Georgia. He's going to win Nevada. He's going to win Michigan. And the other one that he's probably going to pull in is Wisconsin too, because there's a discrepancy in Wisconsin of 130,000
fraudulent ballots that they just found, they just discovered. So there's a lot of things happening, and it's all, to me, it's all positive. I was asked today on a scale of 1 to 10 who will be the next president, and I said 10, it'll be Donald Trump. It'll be President Trump. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind that he won this election hands down in a landslide, probably somewhere between 350 and 400 electoral college votes. What we have seen is over, and I know this, I mean, over the last probably 2 decades and probably longer, I could, give you a little bit of a history lesson in that, but I won't. But over the last couple of decades, what we have seen is a complete shift in how fast I believe that Communist China, in their long-term plan, decided that to sort of move up their plans to become the global superpower, sole global superpower on the planet. And their sort of plan was by about the middle of this century that we're in right now. And I believe during the last 2016 election, when they didn't get the candidate that they needed and the kind of ideology that they saw America moving towards, they were not going to allow 2020 to happen. And so now what we have is this theft with mail-in ballots, the theft with this software, Smartmatic software, and these Dominion systems. I mean, these are systems that are not owned by this country. They're not owned by this country. They're owned by other. They were introduced into this country. I mean, how can we say, as the United States of America, how can we say that we accept a system that is not made in this country, and not even, and in many of the cases, the ballots aren't even tallied in this country? How can we say that here in this country, that we accept that? The one thing, and for you all and for all your listeners, the one most precious thing that makes me the same as the wealthiest guy or gal on the planet, or the poorest person in America, what makes us equal? What makes us equal is when we go in to a voting booth and we close that curtain, or we go in there and we lean over to vote. My vote matters the same as the guy who's the richest guy, in America. It matters the exact same. That's where we are equal, and that's why this has to be fair and free. And it was not. And we probably, in fact, we know we have evidence of previous elections where this happened as well, but we're now focused on this one. And I'm going to tell you, we're not in this to lose. We are not in this to lose these battles. We're in this to win these battles. And I believe we're gonna win. And I'm confident we are, because we have the right people, we have the right plan and strategy. And it's a little bit of direct and a little bit of indirect that we're taking, and people are talking all the time to each other. So I'm anxious, and you probably hear it in my voice that I'm a little anxious, because I just cannot believe the media and the censorship that is going on. I mean, just look at what they do to the president of the United States of America. Look at what Twitter is doing to the president of the United States of America. I mean, it's infuriating to me. It's an abomination of the First Amendment, our freedom of speech. And frankly, for the President of the United States of America, the only means that he really has to be able to communicate is when he walks outside, or he goes in front of a group of people, or he walks outside and talks to the press, or he uses social media to communicate, because the media is not going to allow him to get his message out there. I mean, the major press, not press conference, but the hearing that they had in Pennsylvania the other day, and if anybody had a chance to watch it, I mean, it was an extraordinary hearing with politicians from Pennsylvania, senators on a panel, and the one senator that ran the panel for the state of Pennsylvania that listened to the hearing, listened to a bunch of witnesses, listened to Rudy, listened to Jen Ellis and others on their team. The individual that ran it was a retired military colonel, and he's now a state senator in Pennsylvania. And he gave, at the very end of it, he gave a really good short summary speech. And it was heartwarming because it was sort of a mom and apple pie that, hey, we can't allow this to happen in our country. We cannot, portray ourselves to the world as a third world nation. It was a really, really good, closing speech. And what did Twitter do? Twitter took him offline immediately. They completely removed his Twitter account, so people couldn't follow this guy. I mean, it's just outrageous. It's outrageous. That's a social media company that is part of the public square. They are taking advantage of what they have been given, which is a real privilege, and they're abusing it. And so anyway, I can go on and on. I'm gonna stop and just see if you have any questions on anything, or you want to jump in on anything that I said. But I'm upset. I am determined. I'm going to be resilient, and I believe that I reflect millions and millions and millions of people across this country who feel the exact same way that I do.
Absolutely, folks. We're being
All right, so I'm going to end that there. You can hear the urgency in his voice, and he's right. He's absolutely 100% right. And it's really the first time I've ever heard anything come out of Mike Flynn's mouth. And there's nothing I disagree with there, with one exception. And it's not really an exception. A lot of people are pointing their fingers at China, and like China is the tip of their spear, but there's an entire shaft and quivers behind the tip of the spear. China is being used as the Trojan horse to get inside of this country and other countries and economies. But they're not the only. It's not like China isolated as a world power coming in to destroy the West. They have had significant backing from the start. Okay, China was organized by Bolsheviks from Russia. Okay, and Bolsheviks are not Russians. Remember that. They're not Russians. They were the ones that were in charge of the Russian Revolution. We're talking Lenin, we're talking Stalin, right? Not Stalin, Lenin, and Trotsky, the Trotskyites. They're Bolsheviks. Stalin is a Stalinist. Stalin said, hey, fuck you, Bolsheviks. I'm running the show now, and that's exactly what happened. And they had to get off the ship. They jumped off the ship like rats, and they went to Mexico. And eventually they wound up here. The Bolsheviks wound up here. Well, they started from here, but then they wound up here, right? Trotsky, Lev Bronstein, basically started the Bolshevik Revolution in New York City, okay? And then he winds up going to Mexico, fucks around with Frida Kahlo, gets an ice pick in his head, and his Bolshevik buddies go to the United States. And who do they become? They become the neocons. And the neocons are in charge of running the Bolshevik Revolution with the communist left. And the Bolsheviks, all they care about is power. They don't care. They don't care whether they're on the left or the right. They were lefties. They saw that this pendulum was swinging to the right, and they got into the Nixon administration, the Reagan administration, the Bush administration. And they've never left. They're surrounded. They're in the Trump administration too. The neocon Bolsheviks are in. They've been bolted in. Speaking of Bolton, John Bolton's a Bolshevik. He's a neocon. Spain is an interesting thing. Emerald V was talking about Spain and where the votes are tabulated. So we have these toll roads in Texas. I fucking hate toll roads, by the way. We have these toll roads, and guess who instituted the toll roads? Oh, George Bush when he was governor. Oh, yeah, the money from the toll roads. That'll be helpful. It'll help us. Yeah, guess who runs and manages those toll roads? A Spanish company. George Bush did a deal for a Spanish company to manage the toll roads. Not even an American company. Not even a Texas company. No, it's a Spanish company. We're dealing with internationalists. But remember, China is the tip of the spear, but what's behind China? It's the same people that started the Bolshevik Revolution. That's it. And China knows it. Now, China thinks that they'll be able to either be in partnership with these people or turn tables on them eventually. Because China doesn't want to answer to anybody. Right? So that's an interesting relationship to be sorted out. But that's what's happening now. William Irwin Thompson was a very, very interesting thinker. He's kind of, he's older now, but when he was in his 50s, early 50s, late 40s, the guy was real firebrand and a brilliant mind. If you ever want to look at an interesting book, Falling Bodies Turn to Light is a good book by him. And he talks about this idea of cultural enzymes. And for a long time, the United States was the international or global cultural enzyme. And that what it would do is go through certain countries, and then it would begin to break down the structures and the culture of that country. I mean, you bring McDonald's to China, which is what happened, it begins to break down China, and China becomes more capitalist as a result. Same thing happened in Russia. And I'm just using McDonald's as an example. China is now the new global cultural enzyme. That's the role it plays. I think Mike Flynn is the real deal. You could hear that there is concern, deep concern in his voice. I think Lynn Wood is the real deal. I think Sidney Powell is the real deal. I think those are three people that at the very least have the right intention. Now, whether or not they're going to be able to represent us as quote unquote white hats, that's a whole other story altogether. And Christine said that we are the white hats. I totally agree with that. We cannot continue to allow this disproportionate projection of power onto others. Like, that's really important. At the same time, I think it's also important to, at the very least, know that there are voices out there who are sounding the alarm. And I don't think Lynn Wood is bought and paid for. I don't think Sidney Powell is bought and paid for. And I don't think Mike Flynn is bought and paid for. I don't. And whether or not they're going to be able to do something and, do an end around on this thing remains to be seen. I think Biden's out of circulation. There are rumors that Obama's been around. I don't know. I don't get into the whole arrest rumor thing. I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it can be really disempowering, until I actually see video or evidence of people, or they're gone and you really don't see them. Right. I don't like to traffic in those kinds of rumors, but we do know that Biden supposedly tripped over his fucking dog. I mean, that's out there. We do know, at least I know, that the eclipse, the lunar eclipse, was on his Saturn. His Saturn is in Kamala Harris's 12th house. And have you seen Kamala Harris lately? No, the answer is no. So something is afoot. There are forces at work, but I'm not going to go down the arrest rabbit hole. I can't do that. I can't do it. Can't, because these people were supposed to have been arrested a long time ago. Oh, they've been arrested, but then why the fuck am I seeing either Obama or Obama's robotoid or his clone? It doesn't make any difference at that point whether they've been arrested or not, right? Because they're still doing what they're doing. Now, if all of a sudden they had a robotoid out there that was pro-Trump and they all of a sudden got behind Trump, wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be an interesting kind of remote control operation? But that'd be mind-blowing. They're almost like, the puppeteer, moving. We believe that Donald Trump is really the president. We have to get out from behind the Biden campaign. It'd be like, whoa, Wouldn't that be great? That would be something that I would love to see. That would be a reality, to watch these people disavow Biden and essentially say that Donald Trump is really the rightful president. It would be great, wouldn't it? To watch them say that. What would the left do? What would the left do if all of a sudden their heroes started to say this? It would flip their minds, man. They would lose their shit. They would have absolutely no true north in their life at any point moving forward. And again, the left and the right thing it's a game, but at the very least, it would be fun. It would be good theater. So let's hold the space that all of a sudden somebody else is pulling their strings. I wanted to show you something that really blew my mind. And I catch a lot of stuff. Like, you know, I'm always fishing. By the way, I wanted to show this tweet from Lynn Wood. I mean, this is why this guy, I think, is about as close to the real deal as possible. And remember, he represented Richard Jewell, and he came to Richard Jewell's defense. Consider number of individuals and entities who work with third-party foreign actors to attempt theft of our election. All mainstream media, Biden, Clinton, Obama, Jack Dorsey, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Brian Kemp. I mean, this guy's not holding back. He is not holding back. The only thing he's holding back on is, you know, pointing the finger at Tel Aviv. Like, that's about the one missing piece he's got here. Although, you know, when you get into these characters right here, it's not that far away. So I think Lynn Wood is the real deal. I think he is. He's calling it out right there. Now, whether or not we can actually do something with that, that's a whole other thing. But he's not mincing words. He knows what it's about. He defended Nick Sandmann. Got a big settlement for Nick Sandmann, by the way. You know, he was the kid. He was one of the Covington kids. Got a big settlement for him. You know, what they did to that kid was criminal. Absolutely criminal. And he won. Of course it was criminal. He won. It was the Washington Post. You got money for the kid. They slammed his character. They defamed him. He represented Richard Jewell, who was wrongly accused of being the guy who planted the bomb inside the Olympic Village. And the press and the FBI made his life a living fucking hell. And Lynn Wood actually came to his rescue. Lynn Wood was not convinced that he thought Richard Jewell might have actually had a hand in it. That Richard Jewell event changed Lynn Wood's life. And he's been on a different path ever since then. And he came to his rescue. And guess what? He won Lynn Wood's case. Against who? The Atlanta Constitution Journal, the newspaper there. He won. Richard Jewell won money because he was defamed by the newspaper. Didn't make his life any better. He had to live with disgrace and infamy for the rest of his life. Even though he made a little settlement there. Think of what he had to go through. He had to hide out in his mother's apartment while the press hounded him. Lynn Wood came to his defense. Lynn Wood figured it out. Would have been a lot easier for him to just keep on pounding on the other door, you know, but he didn't. So, you know, I have respect for this guy. Humans are humans. We're fallible. In many cases, we let each other down, and that's the way it is. But we're all we've got at certain times. We're all we've got at certain times. And if we can't build bridges of trust, and real trust, not fake trust, not saccharine trust, then we really have no business on this planet. We don't. So I think we need to, you know, build more bridges and really reimagine this idea of individuality. Okay, so what I did want to show you now, again, I catch a lot of stuff. Like I got a big net. V sent me something. Wow. No, it wasn't V. It was Jasmine. Jasmine C. She sent me something last night. She sends me good stuff. I got to show this to you guys. It's going to flip your wig. Okay, predictive programming. It's always out there. Always out there. And they're always like throwing it out in the weirdest fucking places. America's Top Model. Get ready for this. This is going to flip your wig. Really flip your wig. So again, thank you. Where is it here? I got to find it. Hold on. There it is, right there. Thank you again, Jasmine. Jasmine Aloha, for sending this to me. This is some good shit. Check this out. All right, here we go. This is America's Top Model, and they have a contestant on the show named COVID.
It's COVID's luck. Would you mind putting your mask back on? Thank you. I had not noticed COVID's detail, this 3D applique. I mean, it just gets better. What do you guys think of this mask? It's sick. Brandon said it, but you must be hot. You should.
Project One Runway. That's what this is. Project Runway. Let me go back. I want to mute my mic so you guys can hear this.
It's COVID's luck. Would you mind putting your mask back on? Thank you. It's COVID's luck. Would you mind putting your mask back on? Thank you. I had not noticed COVID's detail, this 3D applique. I mean, it just gets better. What do you guys think of this mask? It's sick. Brandon said it, but you must be hot. You should probably take that. It's COVID's luck. Would you mind putting your mask back on? Thank you. I had not noticed COVID's detail, this 3D applique. I mean, it just gets better. What do you guys think of this mask? It's sick. Brandon said it, but you must be hot. You should probably take that. It's COVID's luck. Would you mind putting your mask back on? Thank you. I had not noticed COVID's detail, this 3D applique. I mean, it just gets better. What do you guys think of this mask? It's sick. Brandon said it, but you must be hot. You should probably take that. It's COVID.
How crazy is that? How crazy is that? The mask is sick, said with absolute earnestness. Yep. Yep. Pretty mind-blowing, huh? COVID. And Heidi Klum said, COVID, put your mask back on. Heidi Klum was telling her right there. Yep. 3D applique, tartan 3D applique. That was from 2019. 2019, and that's April 4th, 4/4/2019. Yep. I don't, so it's on my Twitter page. Okay, you guys should follow me on Twitter, by the way, because I repost or I retweet certain things, and I certainly retweeted that one. Yeah, so follow me on Twitter. That's somebody. It's a TikTok account. Somebody grabbed that, I think, off the TV. I'll try to find a link that has that, and I'll put it in the show page. There were probably 911 squares in COVID's outfit. Steve, you're killing me, man. Check out the mural. Yes, I know the Denver airport, man. Masks. You have communist soldiers with basically the sickle of death, kids in graves. And then you have the representation of all the children from all the world coming together. Very strange stuff. Very, very strange. All this evidence hit the branch. All right, so I'm going to tell you what happened to me yesterday. So I went onto this message board that I used to go to. It's a football board, and I was really pissed, man. I was pissed about what was happening with the NFL, not because of the season, but what they were doing to players and how the NFL was using the league and its players to promote contact tracing, moving people around. Like the 49ers now can't even play in their own stadium. They got to go play in Arizona. What is that? What are they saying about that? What are they telling you? They're telling you that they can move you around. If they can move a football team around, they can move anybody around, right? That's what they're telling you. So I went onto this website and I just basically said, look, it's a football website. It's over. You guys better wake up. You better wake up. And then people were going in and they were, oh yeah, it's all Trump's fault and blah, blah, blah. And there's this one guy who's an older guy. And he's older. He's probably late 70s, early 80s. I'd say late 70s. And everybody hates him because he kind of knows the score. He's conservative and he knows the score and he's not afraid. He's not, and they've had this ongoing feud with this guy for years. Okay, years. And it just, it's one of these, forum things. And I went in there yesterday and I said, look, this is not a partisan issue, man. This is not about left or right or Trump. It is about a global effort to shut the planet down. And then one of the guys said, he's basically an okay guy. And he said, oh, what is this? What am I hearing? Oh, it's my other phone. Somebody's calling my other phone. We have emergency shit going on here or what? Let's see. That's weird. Okay. Anyway, he says it's a partisan issue. Oh, it is partisan. Oh, yeah, it is partisan. And he went on to detail everything that, Trump has done wrong. And just, it's like, he's a TDS guy. Total TDS guy. And a lot of these other people saying, oh, yeah. Oh, it's a conspiracy theory. And, oh, all these conservative assholes. I'm like, okay, let's cut to the chase right now. Let's just cut to the chase. Let's get real. You guys talk shit about this guy on this website and this message board all the time, right? And it's obvious that you hate him and you despise, the group or the sort of the collective identity this guy represents. I said, would you put a bullet in his head? Would you put a bullet in his head? Would you put a bullet in his head? If it's that partisan and you feel that strongly about it, would you put a fucking bullet in his head? Because that's what it comes down to, right? If you feel that strongly about it and he's that much of a threat, what would you do? What would you do? Would you be prepared to do that? And they were like, oh, changing the subject. And, people like to talk a lot of shit online and, talk, because nothing ever really happens. Look, it's okay. It gives them a release valve, right? On some level, it's probably better that they do that. It's probably better. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, well, you're really dead set against this guy and it's partisan. Then what are you going to do about that? What are you going to do about that? Are you going to eliminate the other side? Is that what's going to happen? Well, you better just, make your intentions clear. Make them clear. But I was trying to wake people up and shake the tree, and they're just not getting it. And I left. I normally don't do that. I don't normally go in and become a cyclone, but I was yesterday. Okay. I wanted to play you something. This is. I'm going to try to go out. I got some business I want to take care of tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow because I need to kind of wrap the show up today. But I got some business to take care of tomorrow locally. You guys are going to participate with me. It's going to be fun. Okay. Today's not the day, but tomorrow will be the day. I did want to play you something of interest, because I like to play some stuff from other times or something that's positive. This one is both kind of positive, but also kind of compelling. And I found this crazy interview yesterday. Now, remember, I'm not a newscaster. I'm not impersonating anybody. This is here for entertainment purposes only, okay? Entertainment purposes only. But I'm going to play you some of this interview. I'm going to maybe take the next, 10 minutes to kind of skip through this show. This set, it's phenomenal for many different reasons. Many different reasons. Let's see. Let me set it for you. This is an episode of the Mike Douglas Show. And Mike Douglas had a daytime talk show. And looking back on Mike Douglas, it's like, he was kind of cheesy. He had a voice, he could sing, but he wasn't half bad as a TV host. And his shows had like really weird and interesting people for like daytime television. And the interesting thing about Mike Douglas is that he was born on August 11th. And when he died on August 11th. Very few people actually die on their birthdays, right? And I found that to be interesting in and of itself. Okay, so here I'm setting it up. It's the Mike Douglas Show. His co-host for that week is Sly Stone. Okay, Sly Stone, way out there. Sly Stone is a Pisces, by the way. March 15th, same day as Michelangelo. Isn't Einstein March 15th? Mark, you would know. It's a big day. Ides of March, right? Ides of March. That's Sly Stone's birthday. And Sly is such a fucking Pisces on this show. You're going to see this. I love Sly. He's great. Now, the other guest on the show is Muhammad Ali. Let's just say it was oil and water, all right? Oil and water. So what do we have here? Oh, Meals on Wheels. There's a Meals on Wheels guy with a mask. And then we got another car behind the Meals on Wheels guy with a mask. And they're stopping. And they're, here you go. There they are. See them right there? Right there, Mr. Meals on Wheels guy. They like to kind of stop. We don't like to stop in front of my house. Okay, thank you. Mr. Meals on Wheels mask guy. Anyway, Muhammad Ali and Sly Stone, oil and water. And Muhammad Ali gets on here, and it gets heated. It gets very heated. And he says some things you couldn't say now. Well, at least partially. Okay, Meals on Wheels guy's back. All right, now he's pulling right in front of my place. And now he's going to turn around. So here's Meals on Wheels guy right here. Can you see? Let's see. There's Meals on Wheels guy right there. See that? Just parking in the driveway right there. Slowly turning around. Slowly turning around. Now he's in front of my house. See that? Now he's going to pull away. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Mr. Meals on Wheels guy. Slowly turn around. Decided to turn around in front of my house. Oh, now he's back. Mr. Meals on Wheels guy is back. Maybe I should go out there and see if I can help him. What do you think? Should I go help him? Maybe he's actually just trying to find somebody's house. Maybe somebody really needs a meal on a wheel. That's why they call it Meals on Wheels. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, they do a lot of fake signage and shit like that on their cars. All right, let's get into this this show. Okay. All right, here we go. This is the Mike Douglas show. I'm gonna go through it, and I'm just gonna make some commentary, and you guys will enjoy this, no doubt. All right, here we go. Where are we? Right here. Okay. All right. Okay, so now I can do some commentary with this, and you won't hear it because I do need to do some commentary with this. All right, here we go. Let me just check my mic before I do, but I think I'll be okay. I'm sure she'll be. All right, here we go.
Show. This is Theodore Bickel. I'll be joining Mike and his special co-host Sly Stone. With us on today's show will be Sly's very own Family Stone, prize-fighting champ Muhammad Ali, and Representative Wayne L. Hayes with a look into the funding of political campaigns. Music by Frank Hunter and the band. And now, here's Mike.
Happy New Year! No. Oh, wait, stop. Wait a minute. You'll confuse the world. I mean, but yet, that reminds me of the time Ed Sullivan, when he was on television, somebody gave him one of these signs, a stretch sign, and it was like March 20th. And he couldn't think of an ad lib, so it's just, Happy New Year out there. Everybody's going, what month is it, Alice? You know, what? You were there. Hey, can I ask you?
Oh my goodness, I'm so.
All right, check out Sly Stone. Check him out. This is Mike Douglas, co-host for the week. All right, here we go.
Nervous again.
Are you nervous again?
Yes.
Tell me about your costumes. How much you spend on wardrobe a year?
About 100,000, 200,000. I don't know.
Are you serious?
Gifts?
100,000 a year on wardrobe?
Yeah.
Holy Toledo!
It's better than buying a place in San Gabriel.
You've never recorded anyone else's music, have you? And yet,
Doris Day.
Yeah, I was going to say no. He recorded "Que Sera Sera" on one of your albums.
She's a nice lady. Yeah.
When did you meet her, Sly?
Terry Melcher.
Terry Melcher. All right, so Terry Melcher is this key figure in the whole Southern California Laurel Canyon scene. Terry Melcher connects Charles Manson, Sly Stone, Dennis Wilson, the Beach Boys, Bobby Darin, right? Terry Melcher is this key figure in Southern California. He is this hub through which all these characters sort of constellate. All right, let's keep going here.
And she's
Her son.
Yeah.
Do you ever worked with Doris Day? And
I just, played piano. She talked about the church, and I did also.
Oh, that's great.
She's nice, man.
She really is.
And there's no funny. I'm taking her out, or she's taking me out. There's none of that.
A lot of columnists.
She's a nice lady.
Columnists insinuated that there was something.
Right.
That's
She gave me a car.
She gave you a car?
Yeah. She did.
I'd like to meet her. I collect cars myself.
Yeah. I
Gave you a
got
car?
about
An antique car?
11 or 13 something.
Cars?
Yeah. 38 Mercedes. She gave me.
Oh,
She's so nice. Yeah.
yeah. Why did she give you the car?
Maybe I'm nice also.
Is it true that you were?
Now, how can you not like Sly Stone here? Okay, he's funny. You know, he's a little narcissistic, but he's genuine. Okay, here we go.
A disc jockey at one time?
Yeah.
In San Francisco?
Yeah. Look at all you cats and kiddies out there whipping and waving and jumping up and down and sucking up all that juice and patting and hipping each other on the back and petting each other. Who the greatest cat in the world is? Well, I'm going to put a cat on you is the coolest, the grooviest.
Can you do a little bit of what you did on the air?
Sweetest cat that ever stomped on this sweet swinging sphere. Mike Douglas, everybody.
Man.
Now, how can you not like that? Now, Sly was a disc jockey at KSOL, which is in San Mateo, California. All right, so let's move forward here. Let's do a little more Sly. Let's see what he has to say.
With us today.
Yeah, he's with me every day.
You go all over the world.
He's talking about Muhammad Ali. Okay, here we go.
Are you gonna? Just before we cut off here, are you going to go to Africa to see him fight George Foreman?
Yeah.
Are you?
I won't miss that for the world.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to have to leave you. We're coming right back with Sly and a lot of the My band, man.
They're the greatest.
Isn't my band a good band?
Ooh, they're so good, man.
This next man is, we were just talking about
I can
him a
whip
moment
him
ago.
too.
You can whip Muhammad?
Yeah.
He says he could whoop Muhammad Ali. This is hilarious.
Why, are you into the karate stuff?
Well, yeah.
I often wondered. I've asked a couple. I've asked Sugar Ray Robinson. I've asked Rocky Graziano how a karate guy would fare with a great boxer.
He'd win.
And I don't know. They're
I know.
awfully fast hands, man.
No, but they wouldn't
And
fight.
by the time a karate guy goes like that,
No, but they
he's
wouldn't
on
fight.
his back.
They wouldn't fight.
They wouldn't fight.
Karate is mental also.
Yeah, but what if something occurred and they
Then
did
they'd
fight?
lose.
The boxer would lose?
Sure.
We'll ask Muhammad about that.
I'm telling you the truth. Really.
Well, we'll ask him when he comes.
He didn't know. He's not
He's not into karate.
No. How would he know?
Well, we'll ask him.
Okay.
You want to introduce him? You
Yeah.
guys are very tight.
He'd introduce them or whoop him or whatever you want to do.
Go ahead, introduce him, Sly. Just anything you
Okay.
want to say.
How is he not likable? All right, and I know he's probably high as a motherfucker, but you know, how is he not likable?
Hey, Bob, say something.
I
It's
love Muhammad Ali.
All right, now Ali is surly. Watch it. He is surly. And he doesn't even want to acknowledge Sly Stone because Ali is anti-drug. Okay, he is a Muslim, right? And he's not into drugs. He's not into alcohol. He's not into rock and roll. He believes that it's all degenerate. And watch him here. He doesn't even want to acknowledge Sly Stone. Watch this. So he turns his back and then he looks over to Mike and he's like,
Well, happy again today, I can tell. Why do you? I've seen you. I've seen you never.
okay, now I want you to pay attention to Sly Stone here. He's a Pisces. And he just flows back and forth between these two guys. It's crazy. Watch what Sly Stone does. This is
You
amazing.
don't walk out with a nice smile. You always
Well,
look
I
like
don't
you're
like
troubled
it.
when you walk out.
Because I am troubled. We have so many problems in the world, and these shows are not getting on yourself. Just leave you out. But in general, these shows are so phony.
Yeah.
Everybody's laughing.
That's right.
Kiki.
That's right.
Everything is a laugh here in America.
And so Sly Stone's like, that's right. That's right.
That's
Ain't
right.
nobody's serious. People hungry,
But it ain't Mike,
war,
man.
all kind of trouble. And kiki.
That's right.
And
That's
the
right.
black entertainers.
That's right.
Kiki.
That's right.
That's right.
That's
You
right.
too.
Brothers
Black
are catching
entertainers
so
keep.
He says, that's right. You too. Black entertainer. I mean, this guy is a Pisces par excellence. Here we go.
trouble, you know.
That's right.
Is there an echo in here?
No, I'm with it. I'm with it.
I'm with him.
I'm saying, sometimes, I think we should use this stuff
We ain't planning on going to church now.
So he says, I'm with him, and we ain't planning on going to church now, right? So he's a total Pisces. He's back and forth and back and forth. This is incredible.
To get attention for things where I played a lot and I clowned a lot, and sometimes
you got a platform.
I'm just saying this is why I'm not always. I get tired of Negroes doing all this. Audiences, hey, TV, hey, everything is so good. He makes a little money, I make a little money, but his brothers and uncles of mine are catching hell and hungry, and we on TV, like everything is so rosy, and I can't go off feeling guilty. There's too many wise people.
Muhammad, I'm talking now, man. The only thing we can do for brothers is to do what we're doing, be examples. And
look at Ali. He says, I'm about to punch this motherfucker out. I'm about to knock this brother out. Look at that face. That's restraint right there, but he's not happy.
Be he happy, and to be intelligent like you are and like you always say.
Thank you.
And begrudgingly, he says thank you. And then he looks away and he's going back to Mike Douglas. All right, here we go.
How do you feel about that?
In the disc, I'm too intelligent to debate with the brother on television.
I'm too intelligent to debate the brother on television. So he's not going to get into a conflict here with Sly Stone. Number one, because Sly Stone is a brother. And number two, Ali is saying he's more intelligent than he is.
Or you can clown with him on television. But
I'm not going to clown with him on television, okay? Now watch this.
Behind the doors, we can have a good time, but not with all the people watching.
Yeah, we can.
Now behind the doors, we can have a good time, but not with all the people watching. And this is what Sly Stone says.
And yeah, we can.
Wait a minute. Now wait.
That's not. We'd be phony.
Now, wait a minute. That's not being honest. What you just
That's
said.
what I'm saying.
So now he's like, he's a phony. And Douglas says that's not being honest with what you just said. Backstage, he's, happy, slappy, clowning. But out here, he's a different guy. And Mike Douglas is saying, look, you're not being genuine. So this is interesting.
Behind doors.
We'd be phony if we didn't do the same thing out here.
No. You just said clowning.
If I had any clown,
Hey, don't you agree with me?
Yeah, we're going to clown around. If you don't like it, I'm going to whoop you.
How would you, getting serious for a moment.
So Ali just does not want to give Sly Stone the time of day.
We were talking about the karate thing, and I've asked many fighters, how would a top-notch boxer like yourself manage with a guy who knows karate?
I think.
I mean, if they did,
if a boxer,
Not Muhammad.
Well, let him.
I'll talk when he's finished.
I'll talk.
That's right. Always remember that.
I'll talk when he's finished. That's right. Always remember that. I mean, Sly Stone is the court fucking jester right now. Okay, he is the fool. Sly Stone is the fool. Muhammad Ali is the king, right? He's the king, and Sly Stone is the court jester. This is amazing.
They would not fight. I'm telling you the truth. A good Muhammad and a good karate man would not fight.
Well, let him answer it, Sly. Just for how would you manage?
White man doing that to me?
Then he says, "See what I mean? White man doing that to me." Like he's flipping the script. And look at Mike Douglas. He's like loving this. He is just having a good time. This is great. So Sly Stone just keeps going back and forth, and it's incredible to watch this. This is like one of the most amazing. And I know he's high as a fucking kite, but like Ali has no solid ground beneath him, and neither does Mike Douglas with Sly Stone. Now listen to what Mike Douglas says.
But I'm your co-host. Yeah, half the action's mine. How would they fare?
I mentioned the co-host on Change the Subject. I've been offered this show to co-host Johnny Carson, Dick Cavett.
Right.
And the shows is just so much laughing involved until I never will be a co-host until I can have who I want on the show, talk about what we want to talk about.
I told you could do that.
Oh, it won't be a show. Hold it now. Let me say it.
Okay.
But I'm going to say this. The question. What was the question?
So, I mean, you can have who you want on the show. I had who I wanted to show you.
Top-notch
fighter.
and a karate man, the fighter wouldn't stand a chance because there's only one or two things he can do is ball his fist up and throw a jab. With the karate man, it's jumping and kicking and falling down, and it's too much. It's too
Put
much.
your arm up.
You clowning now.
Put your I can clown on television. I clown backstage.
Champ.
right, that's
The
right.
people's champ.
That's
Right?
right. That's right.
I'm not here to clown.
Mohammed, from time to time, we've talked about your training camp. Can the public attend when you're training?
Yes, we have training sessions every day. 2:00 we're training from 2 to 3:30 in Deer Lake, Pennsylvania.
So he gets into the whole Foreman thing. He's training for the Foreman fight. So we'll go past that a little bit.
Yeah,
No, but he said win or lose.
Ain't no,
So let's keep going here.
I'm speed. I'm really. I'm talking about speed. Really.
If I don't speed out of here for one of those things, we're not coming back. We'll be right back right after this. You have 4 children. A set of twin
Yes.
daughters
He gets into the child thing. Sorry, kind of boring. Here we go.
you're aware of. I watched a lot of young guys in boxing now. And
Now they got a lot of boxing talk. Okay, let's keep going.
Sisters, Catholic sisters, they really feel better to know.
It's about being on an airplane and trusting on the airplane. Okay, now Sly is in between them. Okay, you see how they've changed? They've changed positions. Sly's here and all these over here. Okay, so here we go. Let's watch this.
My hand the rein of courage, dressed in the armor of patience.
Okay, this is Ali's poetry. Just half bad. Here we go.
Some people, seriously, they go on a plane and see a bishop or cardinal or priest, and they really feel better. They see 5 or 6 sisters, Catholic sisters. They really feel better to know that these people on the plane, they feel God is with them.
I always, on the way in, if I can peek in there and get a look at the pilot, and if he recognizes me, I always want to know what kind of a night he had. I check on that. I want to make sure he wasn't out.
But to answer your question, like, we don't worry too much about getting hurt. You get hurt in cars. People die every day. Race cars, they hit walls and burn up. And if you get yourself in condition and you know what you're doing, you're not too much. Like a plane pilot, he don't worry about it. He knows how much the plane will take. And I don't, so I'm more frightened than he is.
You're in the right mood for some Muhammad Ali poetry. If you got something for us today.
Little something, it says, riding on my horse of hope, holding in my hand the rein of courage, dressed in the armor of patience, the helmet of endurance on my head, I started on my journey to the land of love.
So Ali is a Capricorn. Listen to what he has to say. These are Capricornian words.
Little something, it says, riding on my horse of hope, holding in my hand the rein of courage, dressed in the armor of patience.
Patience, Capricorn.
The helmet of endurance on my head.
Endurance, Capricorn.
I started on my journey to the land of love.
Yeah, that's nice. That's very nice. We'll be right back.
You better be good. You better be good.
What, you mean in Africa? When he fights?
You just better be good, period.
He's going to be in shape. Are you working on anything new for the fight? Because you always come up. You were talking about the bolo punch.
Yeah,
Kid Gavilan's bolo
we
punch.
changed the name to the ghetto walk.
Well, he did work on something new. He was working on the rope-a-dope, and Mike Douglas was kind of on it. Okay, here we go. Oh, here's Theo Bickel. Skip him. He's there. Okay, we want to get him out of the way. Blah, blah, blah. All right, this is where it gets like really heated. This is Wayne L. Hayes, who is coming out against corruption in the government. Okay, so what we're seeing here is an encapsulation of what's going on right now. He's talking about voting. He's talking about campaign financing. He's trying to like get into sort of the mechanism of the system. right? And then you have Ali, who in a lot of ways is really going to be taking a Black Lives Matter position. This is really fascinating. And by the way, this guy wound up getting busted for banging his secretary, Elizabeth Ray. I'll show you a picture of Elizabeth Ray. And then his political career was over. Here we go.
And they turn to the government, and the government doesn't satisfy them, and so they figure that
And they give up.
they give up. You know, I was saying just today that there isn't a government in the free world that has a majority government. Every government in the free world is a minority government. All the European countries have minority governments. We have a divided government here, and and we do have terrible problems in the world, and we don't have all the solutions as hard as we may try.
Do you think it's often the fact that those who have money get into office?
Well, I don't think that's exactly true, Mike. That's one of the reasons that I'm in favor of strict limitations on campaign spending so seats can't be bought. Let me say, when I was elected to Congress, I spent $3,000 to unseat a four-term incumbent. And I don't think I think the American people are too sophisticated. I don't think money will do it anymore. Look what happened to Senator Fulbright in Arkansas.
Yeah.
He spent 3 times as much as his opponent, but he'd been in Senate 30 years and his time was up and the people didn't want him anymore and the money wouldn't do it. I think he was a valuable senator. I've disagreed with him sharply many times, but there comes a time, and I hope I'm going to know when my time comes ahead of time and quit before I'm defeated.
30 years, though, you can't be too sad about that.
No, I
that's a
don't
pretty
think
long
so.
run.
That's a long time. It's a long run.
Would you ever get into politics, Mohammed?
Here we go.
No, sir, because see, when you people discuss things, they're not.
When he says you people, he's strictly referring to Mike Douglas and Wayne L. Hayes as being you people. Okay, here we go.
Our problems. See, I'm looking at the black people as a nation, and all of our problems, you all don't have nothing to solve them. See, we need a spiritual divine man, and I believe Elijah Muhammad is that man. We have prostitution problems in New York City mainly, and all I see is the black sisters being used by all type men.
Now, Ali is completely 100% correct and on the money here.
And ain't no politicians mentions it. We got dope problems, gang fighting among self, a lack of love for self, no respect for our women. We don't have no property. We don't have no land. We worked 400 years to make this country the wealth.
Now, he's going to come in with the reparation angle here. Watch Wayne Hayes.
This country on the planet. None of you politicians talk about repaying us for the 400 years of slave labor. You're not the ones who slaved us, who lynched us or raped us, but your people stole the property and left it with you, and you still guilty because you keep it. All the TV stations, all the lectures, the Ramadians, the Holidays, all the land, everything is yours. So ain't nothing in politics for us.
Yeah, but as a politician, couldn't you help the blacks?
No, because I got to have the white man's flag over me, and I got to represent all.
Listen to what Sly Stone says. This is funny shit.
You know, I'll change.
I disagree with that, Muhammad. There are a lot of blacks in Congress, and they don't have the white man's flag.
I don't fuss at the brother on TV.
No, I know.
Let's don't be niggas and fools in front of white people.
I'm not gonna fuss.
So he says, I'm not going to fuss with the brother on TV. Let's not be niggers and fools with the white people. So Ali has run out of patience with Sly Stone.
Spiritual divine man, and I believe Elijah Muhammad is that man. We have prostitution problems in New York City mainly, and all I see is the black sisters being used by all type men, and ain't no politicians mentions it. We got dope problems, gang fighting among self, a lack of love for self, no respect for our women. We don't have no property. We don't have no land. We worked 400 years to make this country the wealthiest country on the planet. None of you politicians talk about repaying us for the 400 years of slave labor. You're not the ones who slaved us, who lynched us or raped us, but your people stole the property and left it with you, and you still guilty because you keep it. All the TV stations, all the lectures, the Ramadians, the Holidays, all the land, everything is yours. So ain't nothing in politics for us.
Yeah, but as a politician, couldn't you help the blacks?
No, because I got to have the white man's flag over me, and I got to represent all.
No, you don't. I'll change.
I disagree with that.
I'll change it.
There are a lot of blacks in Congress, and they don't have the white man's flag.
I don't fuss at the brother on TV.
No, I know.
Let's don't be niggas and fools in front of white people.
I'm not gonna fuss.
Let me talk to them. I'm talking to them.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to everybody here.
Well, I'm talking to them now.
Take your hand on my face. I'm talking to everybody here.
Let me talk to them.
I'm gonna
They
talk.
asking me questions.
I understand it.
This is our problem.
I understand.
You understand? We got to get together.
We're not gonna.
And I don't think politics have a problem. I'm talking to brothers.
No, but I want to change the color of the flag. I'm serious, brother.
I'm not.
You talking about the flag over your head?
Look at Ali. He's like exasperated. This lie says he wants to change the color of the flag. You're dealing with Pisces and Capricorn right here. Okay, here we go.
We're going to change the color of the flag. Okay, that's a heck of a job.
Yeah. Well, it is a job.
See, now we're getting on stuff that don't make no sense. We're talking about something.
I guess it makes more sense than Betsy Ross.
Can look at this.
It makes as much sense as Betsy Ross.
People can watch your show and see what I'm talking about.
Well, they will. They look at Mike Douglas
the
every
black
day.
people understand.
Black people do understand, brother.
What I was saying was this, is that I don't think I can be in no office in this government and don't represent the country, which represents all the people. I'm not saying it's bad to represent all the people. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to represent all people one day. But
yeah, but you do, man.
Yeah, but now wait a minute. First of
first
all,
at
to
home.
get into
Charity
office,
starts first at home. God helps those who help themselves. I got to help myself and clean up myself and love myself and do for myself before I can go to help others.
Ali is not wrong here. He is hitting the target. Okay.
I don't have time to help white people because there's enough white people to help white people. I don't have enough time to help no Jews. There's enough billionaire Jews to help the Jews.
Now, he could never get away with this today, okay? You could not say that today. But in 74, the free speech was a lot more free at that time. Now watch Sly Stone.
Black people help black people.
Right, so that's what we're going to do. Now you're talking.
So now he goes, black people got to help black people. Now he's on Ali's side.
My program is only worried about my people first. That's what I'm saying. And I can't be in no politics saying I'm just for the black people. It's not right.
Yeah, where do you live, though, brother?
Where you live and watch Ali.
At home.
Ali wants to fucking knock him out. But he's basically saying, look, you live in more than likely an upscale neighborhood.
we'll be right back, right after this message.
Do you see Ali's hands? He's like, okay, I got to do some of my fingers. I'm about ready to knock this motherfucker out.
Be right back.
I got a few more here.
Congressman, many times on a show like this, when we cut away for the commercial breaks, a lot of things you said that I like to hear repeated. I'd like you to repeat what you said about the Congresswoman from Texas.
Well, I wanted to say this to Muhammad before, and we got a little side argument going. One of the brightest minds in the United States Congress today is a freshman Congresswoman from Texas, a black woman by the name of Barbara Jordan. I think she can get to the heart of the problem about as quick as anybody. We had a meeting just a few days ago with a group of British parliamentarians to talk about common problems, and I took her there. I asked her as a special favor to go to this meeting.
Yeah, but he's saying
And
there's so
she
many
was-
black people that have a lot to say.
Well, that's true, but
So now Sly's taking Muhammad Ali's
a
side.
lot of white people that have a lot to
Right.
say in Congress, but there
They've
only
been
can be
saying it.
435
And they've
congressmen at
been
any
saying
given
it for
time.
400 years.
Well,
Now he's saying they've been saying it for. So Sly Stone is just going back and forth, right? He is the ultimate fool here for everybody in this show.
blacks now are getting elected, and let me say this, Barbara Jordan was elected from a constituency that doesn't have a majority of blacks.
Yeah, but what he's saying is that he doesn't care about being elected.
Well,
He was
that's
elected black.
that's up to him to decide that. That's not for me to say, but I am saying
but
that
it
some
should be.
black people are making a contribution in that field.
But isn't it time that we all live together?
Well, I don't think we can live
Time for living, time for giving.
I don't think we can live segregated. I don't think you can segregate the Jews into one compartment, the blacks into another, the white Anglo-Saxon Protestants into another, the Catholics into another. I think we're all here in this country, and we're going to have to live together and get along together. And your entertainment wouldn't go if nobody but blacks went to it, or paid, or got admissions. And your
I'll
fights,
stop right there.
your fights wouldn't
I would
grow.
say-
Now Ali is going to say, look, he'd be just fine if he had just a strictly black audience. All right, here we go.
That's what they do if the
I
whites didn't
want to say
contribute.
one thing. If there's a white man come to hear him, we got 40 million black people that love his music. He don't need no white audience. I just
Well,
want to
there's no
say.
40
Yeah, but
million
no,
white
that's not
people
the
in this
point.
country. There's
I'm
only
I'm just
11
saying, I
million.
can't let you stay on the TV
Thank you, brother.
and say that he wouldn't make it if it wasn't for the white
He's like, thank you, brother.
people.
Well, I'm not saying he wouldn't make it, but I'm saying he wouldn't make it as big as he did.
Right, if we have white people promoted. I got one more thing to say too.
Okay, now
One for the black people.
what he's saying is that it does not make you big because white people come.
Congressman didn't say that. He said
I
it
know
wouldn't go as
I'm
big.
saying
He
what he
said,
said.
nor would your fights,
And
is
your
what he
country
said.
wouldn't be here if it wasn't for us.
Well, they don't need it.
America wouldn't be nothing if it wasn't for my people slaving and working for 400 years. And you white people fighting in all of your wars.
Yeah,
Then you talk about if I didn't, white people come to my fights wouldn't have no money. We built the country.
That's right.
We fought in all the
That's
wars.
right.
We were lynched. We were captured. We
Wait a
were
minute.
murdered. And now
Some of us were in on
We
that.
want to give you a
I
little bit.
fought a
We want to
war.
give you some credit, Mohammed. But after all, you're 11 million out of 210 million, so you didn't do everything. The whites did something too.
you did do something.
Everybody made a contribution.
You did do something. You killed off all the Indians. Then you brought us over and robbed us. Of
yeah, but what
everything.
Mike's trying to say is that
You did all
there's
that.
a way to say all of this without having any animosity.
So here Sly Stone goes into Pisces mode. He just wants to bring it all into one big happy family, right?
That's right. I buy
Ain't
that.
no sweet, ain't no animosity. Ain't
He's
nobody
high as
hating about
fuck.
But it should not sound like it.
it. Words are more powerful than fists.
That's why.
That's a-
That's why
Theodore,
animosity.
I
That's
think
why.
it's a fairly simple,
Simple.
simplistic argument that we're having here. On the one hand, saying,
No.
why can't we all live together? Now we know that it's tough to live together.
the most down, the most disrespected, and the less protected than anybody.
Well, where can't you go, Mohammed? And what
Okay,
can't
I'm
you
one
do?
big nigga. I'm a nigga, got $10 million. I'm a great fighter, so I can go. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the brother who can't pay his rent.
Yeah.
He ain't got nothing.
Well, what
Don't
about
have
the
no
white
home.
man who can't pay his rent?
Well,
There's
it's
a
his
lot of
fault.
them.
It's his damn country.
Huh?
He should get out there
You
and do
know.
something. That's his fault.
Yeah.
It's his damn country.
Not all the poor are black, and not
I
all
know
the
you
poor
got
are
some
white.
poor white. Well, then I'm working for my black brothers. You look out for your white brother.
That's what I was saying earlier.
I ain't saying white.
One minute Sly Stone is saying, yeah, we got to live together. And then he says, yeah, that's what I was saying. Talk about beautiful Pisces. This is amazing.
Ain't
Congressman, what
Let's
is
help each other. Help yourself first.
what is the answer?
Well, I think the answer, if there is an answer,
People want the truth. All this laughing and giggling. Now you're talking about.
Well,
truth.
you laughing and
Use
giggling
his
too.
TV time to tell us what you.
He's amazing.
You laughing and giggling just like everybody
But
else.
you see, the laughing and giggling that is not phony. The laughing,
Is it
I have a
emotional?
function here. My function is to entertain,
Yeah, I'm
make
not
as
getting on
many
you.
people
I
out
know.
there
That's
happy
your job.
as I possibly
That's your
can.
job.
And man, I do it every day.
That's your job.
That's right.
It's your job.
And don't say it's phony because it's not phony.
It's
I don't
phony
have
when
a
you
phony
expect me to
bone in
come
this
on.
body.
When you want to know why I'm not coming on giggling my teeth.
I didn't say that. I said you look troubled. I
No.
didn't say, why aren't
I'm
you
always
giggling and
troubled.
laughing?
I'm always troubled.
Well, no, not
I'm
always. Because
troubled. You're in a world full of hypocrites. If I wasn't who I was, I'd be somewhere in the restaurant. So I ain't got no time to be looking like I'm so happy.
Yeah, but
My
he's
brothers
saying.
are catching hell and catching hell and catching hell. Daily.
Yeah, that's right.
And all you all hypocrites saying, oh, you a hypocrite yourself.
well,
what's the answer,
the
Congressman?
answer is that, it's easy to sit back and call everybody else in the world a hypocrite. I'm not going to call
I'm not
anybody a
calling everybody
hypocrite.
a
I
hypocrite.
think
Any
everybody
white
has a right to
person,
their own
any
opinion.
white person in this artist, they say, when I tell the truth, my people ain't nothing but a hypocrite.
I don't hate black people.
I'm gonna say hate.
and I don't see. Well, I
Did I
don't
say you
dislike
hate?
them, and
I didn't say you
and I
dislike.
don't see why you should
Well,
dislike
then you
whites.
get with the government and tell them to get together and unite and do something. But Muhammad, you tell them to get together, you take your face and your complexion to the White House and repay the black people for all the work they done, all the slaving. And
Get down,
Give
brother.
them some land.
The last
You don't hate
reason.
nobody, then do something and repay.
Well,
You ain't
let's
got nothing.
maybe we ought to start back in Africa with the tribal chiefs who sold the slaves
They
into
didn't say
slavery
you
in
to
the
lynch
first
us.
place.
That don't mean you should
You
castrate
can't go back and
That don't mean you
rectify
should burn
400
us.
years of history.
They didn't say
You
you
just
to lynch
can't
us.
do it.
They didn't sell you to lynch us.
Let's be happy. Let's
They didn't
be
sell
happy.
us to you to burn
Let's
us.
be happy.
Time for living.
We'll be right back.
All right, that's enough of that. I mean, look, you cannot have this conversation today. And look at Wayne Hayes is smiling, Douglas is smiling, Ali is glowering, but he did that a lot. And you have Sly Stone in the middle. He's just playing the fool, literally and figuratively. I mean, this is an amazing piece of media on so many levels. So many levels. Let's see. Broke us. Man, this is This is fantastic, right? I mean, you couldn't have these conversations now. You can tell he has real conviction. Of course, Ali has conviction. Of course he does. And the thing about Ali too is if you go really drill down into his personal philosophy, he was not into race mixing. He was really very pro-black, and and look, his message is correct. Like, you got to help yourself first. And he said, I'm really interested in my community. I give two fucks about your community, right? He's also a segregationist. He doesn't necessarily want to live with the white community. And he was very clear about this for a long time. And he has a problem, right? It's the same problem that Richard Pryor faced. Richard Pryor was even more radical in some ways than Ali, in that Richard Pryor dealt with a lot of self-hate because he was trying to really address the racial issue on a personal level. But it was very hard for him to rectify the fact that he was in a so-called white world and making a great deal of bank as a result of that. Now, to remedy that, he wound up getting a manager who was a lawyer from Atlanta, a very powerful guy, very good at what he did, so-called black African-American, and he robbed Richard Pryor blind, ultimately, right? So even that wasn't really a solution for Pryor. And Ali has a similar dilemma. Like, he is having a uncomfortable agreement with the world that he's in. The world of media, the world of promotion, the world of fighting, the world of boxing, and having to take that money and that promotion while at the same time, fighting against it. It's a very difficult position to take. So I'm not saying that Ali's position was wrong. I think he had the right intent. I think his spirit was completely 100%. That there are issues in that community that so-called white America doesn't really understand, and I would agree with him with that. But then we come to this other kind of nexus point where, well, what do we do about it, and how do we reconcile the paradoxes? Because clearly Ali had to reconcile some paradox. He had to. Or he didn't, which made him very uncomfortable. And look, kudos to Mike Douglas. He was gracious. And even Wayne Hayes, I mean, they're having a heated discussion and nobody's yelling, nobody's stomping off the set, nobody's getting up and walking out. They were having a discussion, and they could do those things at a certain point in time. And now, can't even have the discussion. Yeah, can't even have a discussion. So there we go. There we go. And Sly's the only one last. That's true. I think Theo Bickel is still alive. Maybe. I don't know if he's still alive. But Sly is still alive, man. He was amazing during that show. He was amazing. And I know he was high as fuck. And that Ali just did not respect him. There was a moment you could just see his hand. His hand was going like this. Like, I gotta do something with my hand. Because I'm about to ball his fist up and knock his brother out. Oh man, there we go. A little bit of relief. Wayne Hayes, his demise. Wayne Hayes was a Taurus. I'll show you what did Wayne Hayes in. I'll show you what did Wayne Hayes in. Right here. Elizabeth Ray. Right there. He had an affair with her. And it got out, and it pretty much ruined his political career. She posed in Playboy and a bunch of other skin mags. There's Wayne Hayes, Elizabeth Ray. And I'd say Wayne Hayes was, how do I say this? He was dating up, I think, on some level. Now, the weird thing about Elizabeth Ray and Wayne Hayes is the astrology between the two. Elizabeth Ray was born on May 14th, 1943. And Wayne Hayes was born on May 13th. Now, slightly older, 1911, but they had a sun-sun conjunction. So there was attraction there between the two of them, like off by 1 degree. But that was Wayne Hayes' downfall, was Elizabeth Ray. And his political career was scuttled after that. So there you go. All right, I'm out of here. Long show today. Of course, a lot to cover, 2 hours. I know for a lot of people, watching a 2-hour show is, kind of a burden. But there's a lot in here. Tomorrow, I promise to be a little bit shorter. And there is a plan. There is a target. There is a very specific intention and goal of tomorrow's show. Please be here and be a part of it and even help me out a little bit. Okay? All right. Use your head in order to discern what's real, your heart to say what's possible. I'll be back tomorrow. Take good care of yourself. Love you all, Chatlandia. You're rock stars.